and Typhoon blades, but shockwaves are also a great option. And obviously we only have bunkers for cover, but a lot of times, like I said, I like to run a car as it allows me to use it for cover and for mobility around the map. Now for tip number 2, only take 50-50s when it's your only option. I think some people misunderstand the definition of a 50-50. A 50-50 is when you take a close range fight or a bloom battle where realistically anyone can win that fight. If you're jumping on someone with a surprise attack, even though you may be at the same health, it is not considered a 50-50, but more of a 70-30 since the player was not aware of you being there in the first place. You'll notice that the best players actually win fights by turning everything into a 70-30. The easiest way to do that is to always fight optimally. You gotta always have an element of surprise and also an option to disengage if you are cracked. For example, if I'm running out in the open, I always have my bunkers in my hand or my movement because I know anyone could be sneaking up on me. I know this is small stuff, but I kill so many players because they're mindlessly running around in the open. Utilize third partying and taking proper peeks. At the end of the day, since this is zero build, taking 50-50s is very common. And if you do get into a 50-50 situation, you need to try your best to use your movement to turn the fight into your favor. Tip number 3, when you're weak, take advantage of the other player's aggressiveness. If you get into a situation where you're in a fight and you're weak, position yourself on right peaks as you wait for the player to play aggressive. A lot of times when I'm weak, I use my mobility to create distance knowing that I will likely get pushed. And a lot of times I pre-aim where I think the player is going to come from. And more often than not, I'm able to crack their shield and instantly turn the fight around. And usually it either buys me time to pop heals or entirely disengage from the fight, or push the fight as a surprise and utilize sword movement to really catch the player off guard. Too many times I see players get cracked and opt to run away from the fight. Now, if you have a lot of mobility and the other player doesn't, this is very possible. But since we have hit scan this season, it is very easy to get fried when you are running away. So generally try to deal some damage before you disengage from a fight. Tip number 4, master the Typhoon blade movement. In my opinion, the blade is the best close range item you can possibly have, because if you can master the mobility while also taking shots, it is so hard for the other players to track you. Now there's a few things to master with the blade. Firstly, you need to learn to control your stamina, since the blade relies on how much stamina you have left. You don't want to overuse the blade when you're fighting with it. Secondly, you want to make sure you have it at an inventory slot that you can quickly access. For me, I like to bind movement items to my mouse keys as it helps me easily pull the blade out and use it for movement. And now of course you need to master the dash. A lot of times you don't even need to dash. If you sprint with the blade out and jump and instantly cancel it by pulling out your weapon, you conserve stamina but also launch yourself pretty high in the air. This can be useful if you're fighting around buildings or bunkers and you want to elevate yourself. And lastly, the best way to use it in a fight is to dash forward or even backwards to throw them off. Basically, all you are doing is sprinting into a jump with your blade out and hitting the jump button again when you're in the air. That's how you do the dash. For tip number 5, you need to stop loot shopping. This may be the most common mistake that I see players make. When you finish up a fight, your priority should be to reload your weapons and heal up. Even when I go for mythics and medallions, I tend to not even look at the loot until I am fully reloaded and have my health in order. When you're done fighting, you have to understand that in zero build, people are always looking to third party. And depending on how long your fight took, there could be a number of people that heard that fight. So what I like to do when I finish up a fight and I've been tagged quite a bit is use mobility and create distance from that loot until I am ready to grab it. If someone decides to grab it while I'm not there, that turns out even more perfectly because I easily eliminate them as they are loot shopping. Another thing is mark the loot from a distance so that when you do go for that loot, you know what you want to get and can be quick and effective. And lastly for this tip, don't be loot hungry. A lot of times if you have incredible loot and you see loot in a position that is not ideal, it's simply not even needed to grab that loot. Just always ask yourself this question: do I really need that loot? Or can I win this game with the loot that I already have? Because again, it is easy to get caught off guard. For tip number 6, never put yourself in the middle of the zone. If you're wanting to rank up fast and make end games, being in the center of the zone is simply just not worth it. And this doesn't mean you can't drop high elimination games either, because the truth is you will get most of your kills off spawn and in the very end game. And the kills that you do get in the mid game should all be focused on being third party kills or catching players rotating on the congested side of zone. But if you want to focus entirely on the win, which is going to rank you up 10 times faster, play the dead side of the zone. So for example, let's have a look at a zone that would look something like this. Any area of the map that is in the storm and outside of the circle will have players rotating from all these locations, which will make the entry point of this circle, so basically the bottom half of this circle, would be considered a congested side of zone. Now, if you put yourself in the center, you're in between a dead side of zone where there's going to be barely any players and the congested side of zone. And the problem is, if the zone ends up pulling this way, you'll have players from either side rotating to basically come across from you. So you will always run into someone and likely get third party. But if you're on the dead side of zone, you will always have very free rotates around the map, and you can easily fight on this side of zone and likely not. even get third party. Now for tip number 7, we're going to talk about off-spawn fights. When you're contested by more than one player, you should always focus on playing the edges of your POI. For example, when I land at the dojo, I always play the outside buildings and avoid being in the center. This is very similar to being in the center of the zone during the mid game. And then you have to be patient when it comes to taking fights. Use this time while other players are fighting to really set yourself up for the end game. Get your health up and make sure you have the guns you are comfortable with fighting. Now, if you choose to fight someone, you need to fight very optimally. And for zero build, that may sound kind of difficult, but it's actually as simple as making sure when you're fighting, you are putting yourself in a habit of always being on a right peak advantage. If you are not on a right hand peak, simply reposition yourself and keep doing it until you are. For this tip, I'll have a full in-depth fighting guide coming out soon. For tip number 8, you need to master your drop. Go over to Fortnite.gg and toggle some of the spawns that could be important to you. For example, I always like to land at places that have a chance of spawning Typhoon Blade. So I'll go over to Fortnite.gg and learn to see where most of these spawns are. And when you find a spot you like, give it time and learn where all the chests are and where everything important spawns. Knowing your POI is so important, but also figure out where you should be pulling out your glider and always try to pick specific buildings. If you were way too high for the drop, never be afraid to pull off to somewhere else, because like we talked about earlier, it is not worth taking it 50-50, especially off spawn with several people around. Or tip number 9, have some trigger discipline. If you catch a player sitting in the open, maybe they're looting or maybe they're just rotating around the map, don't get trigger happy and shoot them when you have a chance, but rather focus on their body language and where you think they're going to be. They may be headed towards you, and if you wait a little longer, you'd have a much easier shot than you do at that moment. I like to do this against players with medallions quite a bit. I will pay attention to the map to see where they're headed to and try to get in their path and simply wait for a chance for them to be in the open. So for this tip, you just need to be patient and really give yourself a clean first shot to start off the fight. fight. Now, for the final tip, focus on improving your fighting skills and not worrying about your rank. Jump into creative and 1v1 a friend on this rapid zero build map, or just load into the public matchmaking. The truth is, if you get better at fighting, you will instantly see an improvement in your game. I always like to say, focus on your weakness, and as you improve, ranking up will be a side effect. So really let that sink in and figure out what you need to work on. I will have a video out soon talking about what I do to improve on a daily basis, so make sure you subscribe to not miss out on that. And if you want to get better at fighting, consider clicking on the video that's on your screen.
Fortnite account off eBay. Was it a total scam or was it a steal? Let's find out. But before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe with notifications, and watch throughout the entire video to get a chance to win this account. Also, I heard if you watch the video more than once all the way through, you have a better chance. So go ahead and watch the video as many times as you want. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, we're gonna go look at the skins. Oh, we have FNCS pickaxe. Okay. So we're going to look at the skins in 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay, we have some good skins. Hold up. So apparently this account is supposed to have the Renegade Raider and the Gold Trooper, I think. But let's see. So we have the Dark series. I actually kind of like these skins. We also have the Frozen series. Those are cool too. The Knights are in both of them. Let's see. Oh, this series too. Laura Croft is actually a really good skin. We have some icon skins. Kylie Lame, that was Battle Pass, I think. Marshmallow, Juice WRLD, Snoop Dogg. Okay, we got some cool skins. We have a lot of Marvel stuff too. The Blaze is kind of cool. We have Tony Stark, bro. Okay, some cool stuff. The Budge, bro, this skin is so goofy. Look at that thing. Let's see. Oh, this skin's kind of sweaty. Let's see, we have the Galaxy one. Indiana Jones. Also, y'all make sure to comment.
One thing I instantly noticed about this video, how hackers are destroying Fortnite. Then, now. It's just Cooper, bro. Alright, I'm interested to see how Cooper's a hacker. What? Bro, poor Dave, bro.
Yeah, perhaps the single
bro, hackers were so rare in Chapter 1. So rare.
Dude, this guy's cheating.
Okay, maybe not. These clips are all from Chapter 1.
And ruin your day just when you're about to get a victory royale. But these
not my victory royale
have become more advanced.
What the f?
Dude, like actually. Oh, how are you not banned, bro? Wow, bro. It's the cheaters. Oh my god!
Fortnite has given away over $100 million throughout the various tournaments in the last 6 years. And with that much money on the line, there's always someone behind the screen
who's the
ready to
exploiter?
break a rule and steal a piece of it that they don't deserve.
Does Epic Games realize what's happening?
Today, with the help of
this
anonymous member of the Fortnite hacking and cheating community, I will be exposing the massive network of cheaters that have been robbing Fortnite and all of the honest players blind of money for the better part of a decade.
Wow, okay.
And I run the most popular Fortnite cheat selling company. I've made over $5,000 cheating on Fortnite and qualified for FNCS Grand Finals.
While some of the more casual fans I have might associate hacking with that one cracked guy who keeps cranking 90s in your lobby, it wasn't always like that. People
Who
have been
thought hacks
cheating
would-
and hacking
What?
in video games
That's
ever
hacking.
since the first game was ever invented, way before Fortnite was
Good old
even
Pong.
thought in the minds of Epic Games. Back in the day, developers would integrate cheat codes into their game. This was mainly to help out during the playtesting phase of the game development, but the developers left these cheat codes in the back end of the games after they were released. They put them there thinking that nobody would even notice.
Interesting. We're getting like a
considering
history
it was
lesson.
just useless game files, but throughout time, hackers started to notice that if they accessed these game files, they could cheat like the developers. Cheating became a widely
speedrunning is
accepted
so
part of
bad.
the gaming community. Don't get me wrong, there were still gaming purists, but most people were just cheating at home on their own game.
Yo,
and
we all
wasn't
did it, bro.
exactly
We've all
averting
been there, chat.
anybody-
GTA, man. Everyone loved, dude. Cheating in GTA, like, it's just a different experience. Cheating in single-player games, though, you're not hurting anyone. It's only your own experience. Who cares? You know what I mean? Cheating in online games is where it gets mad cringe.
Else's experience. However, as time went on and online multiplayer games like Fortnite were invented, people started developing hacks that would impact not just themselves, but the players that they were cheating against. When people started first cheating in
bro,
online
this is
shooters,
cr-
it was very easy
CIA.gov.
to tell. You could see them
He's just
flying around the
flying.
sky with their limbs flailing all over the place, killing literally
CIA.gov.
everyone on sight. But recently,
Whoa.
as hacks
Dude, that is
have improved,
crazy. What?
it's become much harder to figure out if someone
Dude.
is really cheating, or they might just be really good at the game. Of course, most video games like Fortnite have now adapted and have built-in cheat detectors. However, they're in a constant battle with hackers to stay one step ahead of the curve.
Pretty much.
There are two main types of hacks in Fortnite that I want to cover today.
Okay.
One are aim and trigger bots, and
Okay.
the other is ESP. Aim bots and trigger bots are pretty self-explanatory. It basically gives you a robotic arm. You see, the computer will automatically lock onto opponents' heads.
Jeez, it looks
that
so
you don't
crazy
have
to watch,
aim
bro.
train at all. The hacks will basically do the
Yo,
work
whoever
for
this is
you.
aim training right now is
to be
insane.
fair, it is much more nuanced, and if you are a terrible player that starts cheating, it's very obvious, whereas a good player might not be as easily detected.
Yo, why did we use Reet? Yo, why are we bringing back the Reet allegations, bro? I thought we beat that.
If their aim only gets slightly better. And then there's ESP, which is another type of hacks which are called extrasensory perception. When you have hacks
actually, that's what
like
ESP
these
stood
turned
for.
on, it will display important player information on the screen.
this is the
and
sketchy
let you
one.
see players through
So
walls.
hard to tell if
And
someone's
on
using
top of
this.
seeing them, you'll also know what HP the players are at, possibly what rank they are, what weapons they have, and anything else that
That's-
the ESP
yeah.
developer puts in. See, most of these hacks come from sellers online. These hackers basically promise you that you can play the game undetected from Epic's anti-cheat software, but
That's
in
concerning.
reality, you will probably get caught anyway. Epic Games knows that these sites exist too because they've sued cheaters before. Not just once, but multiple times. In 2017, Epic Games sued a 14-year-old who was advertising
Get him.
hacks on his YouTube channel. And he wasn't some massive YouTuber, he only had 14,000 subscribers.
Wow.
But Epic is incredibly serious. They argued in the lawsuit that these hacks were not only ruining the fun of the game, but also actively violating Epic's copyrights. On top of that, in 2022, Epic Games sued an entirely different cheater known as Blaze FN. Blaze was selling cheats alongside inactive accounts with rare skins and a bunch of other stuff that went against Epic's terms of service. Obviously, Epic Games was not happy with him either, and we don't know how much Blaze was required to pay Epic Games, but we do know that Epic Games won the lawsuit and donated all of the money they won to charity. After
That's
he was caught, however,
all-round
Blaze
W's.
never sold hacks again.
Hell yeah.
And you
Huge
should
W's.
consider these cheaters lucky, because in other game titles before, people have not gotten away with just a slap on the wrist or paying some money. In 2020, Gary Bowser, who was a member of the well-known
3 years
hacking
in
group
jail!
Team Executor, was arrested for his role in creating and distributing hardware and software that enabled piracy on
How does that even go, bro, in prison? Yo, what are you in for? Yeah, I murdered a guy. What are you in for? Yeah, I was trafficking a kilo of cocaine. What'd you do? I cheated in Mario Party. Like, what the fuck? What?
Nintendo consoles. After his arrest, Bowser was extradited to the United
How
States
are you going
in
to jail for
2021,
this?
and after that, he pleaded guilty to multiple charges, where he was sentenced to 40 months in prison. This case, for the first time, highlighted these serious legal ramifications of hacking for making
That's
money.
insane, bro.
So
You don't mess with Nintendo. That's what we're learning. Fortnite, you know, you get sued a bit, public apology, donated to children's charity, whatever. Like, Nintendo, you are going to jail. That is ridiculous.
Why would anybody risk cheating for a few $100s or the glory of their name on a leaderboard? And to find out the answer to this question, I asked one of Fortnite's leading cheat developers how he started cheating in the first place.
Oh, this will be interesting.
I bought a spoofer and then I started like buying cheats. Or I didn't want to buy cheats because they cost money. So I had like a YouTube channel from when I was like good at the game. And then I said to the cheat developers, like the random ones, I don't remember what the name should be, that I'll make YouTube videos if you give me a cheat key. So that's how I first got into cheating.
And I assumed if he
Well, that was good.
to cheat for this long,
I think I know who this
there
is.
must be some big positive upside to it, considering all the risk.
So I don't know what it would be overall, but we're the most popular DMA cheat, and on like the best month, like a few months ago, there was FNCS, heaps of zero build tournaments. We made 30,000 USD, and every month it's above 10,000 USD from hardware, from the DMA firmware, spoofer, and the cheat. There's other DMA
That is
cheats that make
insane.
6,000 a month, which is a livable amount of selling DMA cheats. And then people that buy the cheats, you spend like $200 on the setup, and then you earn in 2 zero build cups, and you've already made your money back.
See, that's the concern. That's what I've talked about, man. Like, Fortnite's anti-cheat is actually extremely good. It catches like 99.9% of cheaters. It really does. That's why, like, the average player has not ran into cheaters that often in pubs, ranked, whatever. It's just where Fortnite really let it down and where they continue to let it down is paying out cheaters. They need to just hire a few staff members, whatever it costs, just manually check every single player you're paying out for like 6 months. Do not pay out a single cheater, and I guarantee the amount of cheaters goes down so much. But it's because it's this. People see it as an investment. Just people who are bored and want to spend money to cheat and get banned is already such a small population. But people who are willing to try and risk it to then make the money back, that is what's scary. That is what Epic has dropped the ball on. That's why there's so many cheaters in tournaments and like none in the actual regular game.
So much money to be made, I guess it isn't really surprising that there are people willing to do anything to get it. And there aren't just a few players cheating. There are thousands.
30 grand is
Based on your
insane.
knowledge, how many people are cheating?
So if you're just playing pubs and stuff, like a cheater's not really just going to be playing normal games, not getting anything from that. But if you look at like high-level tournaments, my experience is mostly in build because I don't play zero build, it's just boring and you just die to cheaters. So
The irony. I don't play zero builds because I just died to cheaters. Motherfucker, you're the cheater. What do you mean? What do you mean? Is theirs better? Did they turn it up more than you? What do you mean you die to cheaters in zero builds, bro? We got cheaters not playing zero builds because there's too many cheaters. Like, oh my god, it's doomed, bro. We're gone. It's over.
last season I played OC Grand Finals, 7 out of 8 at the Duo
Of course he played OCE Grand Finals. Of course it's OCE.
Cup Finals, like top 40 for money. And usually in every week of like the set lobby, like the finals of FNCS or the finals of the Duo Cup, there's like 2 or 3 cheating teams.
That
And
is
that's on
disgusting.
OC. And that's like usually there's usually like one known cheater that's like good and like hasn't been banned in a few months, and there's usually like 1 or 2 people that are just rage hacking and then get banned a few days later. So
Yeah,
in build I would say
pretty
I
fair.
don't know what it would be on each region, but on OC it's usually like 3 out of 50. But on Middle East I saw like people do good cheating. Someone came 6th in the last FNCS Grands cheating, and in zero build, you know, if you look at the leaderboards,
like
people with 2
80%
events,
cheating.
so I think it'll be like 80%.
Yeah, 80%. There's no way we got the exact
Now,
amount,
I
bro.
obviously can't perfectly confirm
Maybe it's
or
me,
deny
chat.
the accusations
What if that was me the whole time?
from our anonymous source. However, I can 100% tell you that he was on the leaderboard of the FNCS Grand Final.
I can't leak who the anonymous source is, but here is where he was on a leaderboard that is very public and anyone can check. You just go to the leaderboard now and check. Come on. This is, dude, what? Dude, this is like putting on a fake mustache and like, well, I'm a new person now. Like, this is the worst.
While
No way.
he's still on that leaderboard today.
You can go check if you want to find out. Like, come on, Divvy.
further back up these claims, we have
So
seen
anonymous.
some pro players get caught cheating before, and not just any players. For those of you who don't know who Repulse is, he was the winner of the 2023 Major Grand Finals in the OCE region.
But there was one team who was making waves in Major 3, and that was Jace and Repulse.
You see, Repulse actually quit the game long before that tournament.
Now, Repulse is one of the best OCE keyboard and mouse players in the first few years.
One of the best in the world.
Placing 4th at DreamHack Anaheim 2020.
I would say at one point in Fortnite history, Repulse would have been the best fighter in the game. He came 4th at the only international event he went to. This kid was a freak. Like, genuinely, Repulse was terrifying. Not as smart as some of the players on EU and NA, but I think genuinely, at this point in the game, the best fighter in the world.
Very impressive for a player from such a small region, but come to the end of 2021 and he would quit and disappear from the internet entirely.
What that means is that Repulse was not the actual player on that account. In fact, he hadn't played Fortnite in almost 2 years.
Strangely, on his return midway through 2023, he would be playing Controller.
That keyboard to controller switch was just the first in many pieces of evidence that would come out, which proved that Repulse's account was being played on by a hacker. However, this cheater was about to make a huge mistake. He actually won the Major 3 Grand Finals on Repulse's account. And you're probably asking to me, why is that a mistake? Isn't the point of cheating to win and get the money? And to that, I would answer yes. However, there's another factor at play here. The winner of the Major 3 FNCS in OCE would also be qualified for the 2023 Global Championship LAN event. And for those of you who haven't caught on yet, that was the huge mistake. Because you see, this is a LAN event, and since Repulse wasn't on the actual account, he would still have to go to LAN because Epic Games knew what Repulse looked like IRL. And that meant whoever was playing on Repulse's account couldn't go, and Repulse himself would have to go instead. And
insane, bro.
This is where things got even worse, because according to multiple anonymous pro players that I spoke to, Repulse was telling other players at the LAN event the truth, and basically saying he didn't really qualify.
Everyone in OC knew. Everyone was reporting this during the time. Like, during the FNCS, everyone knew and was reporting it, and still nothing happened. This wasn't like a secret at all. It was the worst kept secret of all time.
That someone was playing on his account. And after this, it didn't take long for word to get back to Epic Games and Blast about what was going on. Later in this video, we'll be talking about another player from the 2023 Global Championships and their involvement with the cheating problem. And I promise it's someone who will shock every single one of you. So armed with this knowledge that pro players were cheating, I was curious to ask the cheat developer more about how often these cheaters are getting caught. After all, if someone could make it all the way to global championships by cheating, who knows how many people on our leaderboards are cheating right now?
So the anti-cheat is like Valorant, Fortnite have good anti-cheats for detecting software running on your computer. But when it's not on your computer and the only suspicious thing on your device is literally like something appearing as a real device, they're not gonna like ban you for having a real tech internet device.
Well, I guess that's sort of a bright side. Fortnite does have a great anti-cheat. They can ban a very high percentage of players that are cheating. But if you get caught, is it easy to start cheating again?
So when you get banned in Fortnite, they ban your hardware, which is like usually your motherboard, your SSD, and your like IP. So to spoof, you only really need to change your. If you don't want to buy a spoof, you can just buy a new SSD and motherboard. But the spoof is like $20, the one I sell. So it just changes your motherboard serial numbers, and then you reset your computer, and then you're unbanned.
So not
it's
only
an ad. It's an ad.
Cheating, but they're doing it again and again and again. And it creates this horrible cycle because these serial cheaters have no chance of ever being unbanned. So what do they have to lose by trying to cheat again? I know the only big example I have given of cheating so far was the Repulse situation, and I'm sure many of you already knew about that. And on top of that, the Repulse situation was over a year ago now. So why should you even care? Well, the truth is that is just one example that's been made.
That was the biggest, like, craziest example.
anonymous source was able to shed some light on just how current this problem really is.
I didn't know you played grand finals last season.
I came top 22. I'm not going to say exactly what I came, but yeah.
Homie, he literally showed where you were on the leaderboard. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know if whoever this is, just like didn't tee up with Timmy, or like once he did the interview, Timmy was like, yo, screw this guy, I'm definitely exposing him. Anyone who wants to know who you are right now can find out in...
To keep his privacy, I promised I wouldn't we ever thought. Just last season, this one hacker has claimed $1,000 in Fortnite earnings, and there are people that have allegedly made way more than him. Epic Games and all of the legitimate Fortnite players are basically being robbed blind.